Next up is Polar Night. Okay. Polar Night.
수많은 진실들과 수많은 거짓들 사이 우리는 제대로 세상을 바라보는가. 진실과 거짓의 차이, 선동과 본질의 사이 내 이득은 무엇일까. 개같은 세상에 개처럼 살 순 없기에 눈을 뜬 채로 현실을 봐. 정의의 반대는 또 다른 종이. 알잖아 세상엔 없거든 선이. 팩트는 관심 없고 내 편이 아니면 죽여버리는 게 지금의 정의. 좌와 우 흑과 백자 여친 연극 끝에 관객은 서로를 물어뜯으면서 피를 보내. 총성이 없는 전쟁, 물질 만능의 병폐. 내 편이 아니면 다 적이 되어버리는 극단적 선택. 정치적 올바람도 안 내 입맛대로. 귀찮은 문제니까 문체로. 선택적 위선과 불편한 태도 오직 내 기분에 맞춰버리는 해석. 진실과 거짓도 입맛대로. 시선을 진영에 갇힌 채로. 선택적 위선과 불편한 태도 오직 내 기분에 맞춰버리는 해석. 수많은 진실들과 수많은 거짓들 사이 우리는 제대로 세상을 바라보는가. It is so dirty. 나 또한 깨끗한가. It is so dirty. 당신은 깨끗한가. 시커먼 질문들과 무차별 비난들 사이 우리는 무엇을 위해서 싸우는가. It is so dirty. 난 또한 깨끗한가. It is so dirty. 당신은 깨끗한가. 이 모든 혀로 정의들을 외치는 사이 숨지게 니들은 비웃지 말이. 너무 많은 시대에 입을 다보면 방해자라고 손가락질을 해대네. 어디서 감히 파파파 익명 속에 가린 비겁한 자들이 행하는 살인. 가시돋지 말은 다 널 위한 거고 이제 해명을 하려고 하는 가식이 감히 파파파 입 다무는 범인. 당신들이 외쳐대던 값싼 종인 피를 흘린 니들을 위한 게 아니잖아. 제발 마주하라고 이 불편한 소리. 황색 언론이 만드는 옷 누군가의 이득에 choice. 우리끼리 치고받고 싸우는 게 무슨 의미. 창끝은 미래를 향하라고. 정치적 올바람도 안 내 입맛대로. 귀찮은 문제니까 문체로. 선택적 위선과 불편한 태도 오직 내 기분에 맞춰버리는 해석. 진실과 거짓도 입맛대로. 불편한 진실에는 감은 채로. 선택적 위선과 불편한 태도 오직 내 기분에 맞춰버리는 해석. 수많은 진실들과 수많은 거짓들 사이 우리는 제대로 세상을 바라보는가. It is so dirty. 나 또한 깨끗한가. It is so dirty. 당신은 깨끗한가. 시커먼 질문들과 무차별 비난들 사이 우리는 무엇을 위해서 싸우는가. It is so dirty. 나 또한 깨끗한가. It is so dirty. 당신은 깨끗한가.
Okay. I'm gonna guess. Okay, what is this called? Polar Night. For me, music-wise, feels very... This isn't the right word, but you're going to see where I'm going. Music-wise, feels very simple. There's a couple really nice flares that happen here, but I think those flares are used to emphasize something lyrically. Because for me, and I think we kind of saw this in, what was it? Maybe? I don't know. One of the other songs, it was more about the lyrics. Like, I feel like the real meat here is in the lyrics and it's not in the music. So it's like you almost kind of have to balance between the musicality and then the lyrics and how much weight you want to put within a song. You know what I mean? Like, you can only fit so much into a box. Yeah, you see what I'm saying. So lyrically, let's see what he is trying to say. Because if I'm going based on this music-wise, there's something pretty significant that he is saying here.
입맛대로 시선을 진영에 갇힌 채로 선택적 위선과 불편한 태도 오직 내 기분에 맞춰버리는 수많은 진실들과 수많은 거짓들 사이 우리는 제대로 세상을 바라보는가. It is so...
Yeah, there's a couple nice little bass riffs. There's a couple little... Yeah, it's a little electric guitar. It's good. It's a good song, but I don't think that's where the meat is. Polar Night. All right, let's check the lyrics, shall we? Make sure this is right. Between so many truths and so many lies, are we looking at the world correctly? The difference between the truth and a lie, the relationship between instigation and true nature. What do I gain from this? I can't live like a dog in this dog-like world. I look at reality with open eyes. The opposite of justice is another justice. You know there's no good intentions in the world. I don't care about facts. If you're not on my side, then killing you is justice right now. At the end of the play, made left and right, black and white, the audience tears each other apart and sees blood. War with gunshots, a materialistic person's evil, the ultimate decision that if you're not on my side, you're an enemy. Political correctness will be to my taste too. Damn. Mouth shut on bothersome issues, selective hypocrisy, and uncomfortable attitude, analyzing just based on how I feel. The truth and lies to my taste too. My sight is locked in the camp. Partisanship? ? Selective hypocrisy and uncomfortable attitude, analyzing just based on how I feel. It is all dirty. Am I even clean? Is it all dirty? Are you clean? Between dark questions and indifferent criticism, what are we fighting for? It is all dirty. Am I even clean? It is all dirty. Are you clean? While yelling about justice with a blood-stained tongue, the quiet people laugh. If you shut your mouth in a talkative era, they point fingers at you, calling you a bystander. How dare they? Look, look, look. Murder committed by unfair people, hidden by anonymity. Quote, those words with thorns are all for you. How dare you try to explain yourself? Look, 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 the culprit shuts their mouth. That cheap justice you were yelling about wasn't for the ones who spilled blood. Please face these uncomfortable good intentions. This noise from yellow journalism, a choice for someone's benefit. What's the meaning of us fighting each other? The end of the window heads towards the sky. And then it repeats a piece, I think. Where did I see it? If I could wrap this whole song up in one line that he says, it's right here. What's the meaning of us fighting each other? And I think this line, the end of the window heads towards the sky. If I had to guess, I would say that line chasing the previous one is essentially saying there is no limit to this. This will never end. What's the meaning of us fighting each other? There is no end to this. I feel like this is another one that we could lyrically break down and get really specific with. The ultimate decision that if you're not on my side, you're an enemy. Isn't that the truth? The opposite of justice is another justice. Man. Oh, there's so much that I could say. And here's because somebody just mentioned Twitter and I saw it. What really fascinated me, and I'll just kind of relate this to, for me, what a lot of you are familiar with, which was the whole Twitter thing we talked about. What I thought was fascinating was that the people that were commenting, not commenting, I guess quoting, quote retweeting, I'm still kind of a Twitter dummy, I guess. But the people who were quoting it for the most part, not for the most part, the ones who really had something negative to say, that's how they said it, was through quote retweets. What shocked me was that all of these people that I looked at, I didn't look at all of them, there were so many. That tweet got like 500,000 views in a day or something, I don't know. But these people were Army, right? And that floored me. The death threats and the things that they would say and the way that they would say them, but yet still try to come from this perspective of Army and representative of the values of BTS. That didn't feel right. That didn't sit right with me. So I can't, yeah. And again, I tried to come from the perspective of, look, I do understand where you're coming from. I get it. But that's really all I can say. Because Jungi puts it right here. And polar night, I mean like polar opposites and like, wait, polar night. The polar night is the term for when night lasts more than 24 hours inside the polar circles. Yo! Night is constant in a polar night. So if we go back to that last line, I just said it. What's the meaning of us fighting each other? The end of the window heads towards the sky. There is no end to this. A polar night, it's all darkness all the time. I can't with this guy. I love him so much. I'm so friggin' impressed. I can't. I think I've peaked. I think I've peaked on how blown away I am with the way that he says all of the things that he says and how he says them. I'm words. Bringing it back. What's the meaning of us fighting each other? Here's what I'll say and then I'll move on. I think a lot of times about how a lot of what we see human interaction wise, what I believe has like these very evolutionary origins. For example, there's theories that say the reason that we as humans seek out threats is because way back when we're talking like early human days with small communities of people that lived over here, and then a community lived over here, and a community lived over here. If you didn't identify threats soon enough, your community was wiped out. If you didn't fit in with like-minded people and fit into a community, you were kind of on your own and your survivability went down. These are theories, right? But if you look at the history of humankind, not any one nation, but the history of humankind, you can kind of see this making sense. Now, just because it makes sense, I don't think that means it's true, but I think it's interesting. I think that the human, what's the word? Propensity to like identify with a group and then charge at supposed enemies, I think it's ingrained in us. I do. I'm not saying it's right, but I think it's part of who we are. And I think that that is something that we need to be aware of. Because if I were to respond to all the space buttholes on Twitter, not people that disagreed with me, I'm cool. Space butthole is somebody that goes out of their way to say some really, really mean, disrespectful shit. That's what I'm talking about. If I were to respond to those people the way that, like, I'll just say old Roscoe would have done, I would have been just as space butthole as they were. I would have been no different. And that's what Jungi's talking about when he says, what is it? One justice for another justice. The opposite of justice is another justice, right? It's a loop. It's nonstop. It's going to be the never-ending battle because, oh, you hurt me, well, I'm going to hurt you back. Okay, well, you hurt me, I'm going to hurt you. It never ends. We're always going to be that way. Sometimes we choose our battles. And I think a lot of times, one of the best things that we can do as human beings, damn, this got deep quick. Some of you are like, quick? Really, bro? Not so much. I think one of the best things we can do as human beings is to listen to the other person. You say your piece, you have the conversation respectfully, and then if it's not flying, it's not flying. Agree to disagree. Now, is this ever going to happen? No, not even close, bud. But we can hope. I can do the best that I can do on my side and hope that it evokes some change somewhere in my life. And you can do the best that you can try. And just that's it. That's all we can do is our environment, our little bubble on this planet.